You're no contact right now and you're anxiously attached, you're probably making at least three of the six mistakes I'm about to share with you. These mistakes, they're not just keeping you stuck in the pain of your breakup, they're actually rewiring your brain to repeat the same patterns in your next relationship. My name is Flora Ong, and I'm the founder of Redo Love. And after working with hundreds of people navigating breakups from toxic relationships, I've seen these patterns over and over again. Today, we're diving into the neuroscience and psychology behind why anxiously attached people struggle so much with no contact. And more importantly, how to actually use this to heal instead of just hoping your ex comes back. Now, before we dive into the mistakes, let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you're anxiously attached and going through a breakup. Anxious attachment develops when our early caregivers were inconsistent, sometimes available, sometimes not, and it makes your nervous system almost feel like a roller coaster. Your nervous system learned that love is not predictable. And to survive, you had to stay hypervigilant, constantly monitoring for signs of abandonment. Fast forward to adulthood, and your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, is on high alert in relationships. When someone pulls away, your brain registers this as a survival threat. Neuroimaging studies have shown that the pain of social rejection activates the same exact neural pathways as physical pain. That's why a breakup can literally feel like you're dying. When you go into no contact, you're essentially activating your nervous system's most primal fear, which is abandonment. Your brain starts pumping out cortisol and adrenaline, the same stress hormones released when you are in physical danger. And this is why no contact feels so impossibly hard. You're not being dramatic. Your brain genuinely believes you're under threat. So now let's talk about the six mistakes that might keep you trapped in this suffering. Before we get too far along, do me a favor and tap the like, send this to a friend, leave a comment while you're watching this video, and let me know which of these six mistakes you're either making or have made in the past, because you know, and I know, you've definitely done a few of them. Mistake number one, going into no contact because you think it's going to get your ex back. So this is the biggest mistake I see, and it's rooted in intermittent reinforcement. Now, you've probably read online that no contact works to get your ex back. So you go into it with this like secret agenda. You might even be lying to yourself. But what's going on behind the scenes is if I just disappear, they'll miss me, realize what they lost, and come running back. And while on some level this might actually be true, the bigger picture is that your motivation for no contact is external. It's focused on changing your ex's behavior while you're still operating from the same anxious attachment wound. You're still making your worth dependent on whether someone else chooses you. Your brain is in the same anxious loop. The ventral striatum, the part of your brain associated with reward and motivation, is still oriented towards your ex. Every day you don't hear from them, your brain experiences what psychologists call extinction anxiety. You're essentially gambling, and your brain is constantly checking. Did it work yet? Are they coming back? This keeps your dopamine system completely dysregulated. Dopamine is often called the pursuit neurotransmitter. When you're chasing an uncertain reward like your ex's return, you get addicted to the pursuit itself. This is the same neurochemical process behind gambling addiction. The reality, no contact is not a strategy to manipulate your ex. It's a boundary to protect your nervous system and give yourself space to heal. When you use it as a manipulation tactic, you stay stuck in that anxious avoidant trap and repeat the same pattern with this person or with the next. The real purpose of no contact is to break the neurochemical bond and allow your prefrontal cortex, your rational brain, to come back online so you can make decisions from clarity, not desperation. Mistake number two, seeing something that reminds you of them and breaking no contact. You're doing great with no contact, then you hear a song, see a couple holding hands, or pass by the restaurant where you had your first date. Suddenly, your heart starts racing, your stomach drops, and before you know it, you're typing out a text. This song made me think of you, babe. Let me explain what's just happened in your brain. This is called cue-induced craving, and it's the same mechanism that causes recovering addicts to relapse. Your brain has formed what neuroscientists call associative memories, linking specific triggers, songs, places, smells, with a reward of your ex's attention. Almost like the Pavlov's dog experiment. Ring the bell, and the dogs come running for food. Except you see the trigger and you go running for your ex. When you encounter these triggers, your hippocampus, your memory center, activates, flooding you with emotional memories. Simultaneously, your amygdala signals threat. We need them. We're not safe without them. Your prefrontal cortex, which would normally help you resist the impulse, gets overridden by your limbic system, your nervous system's emotional urgency. Within seconds, your brain releases a cascade of neurochemicals. Dopamine creating the craving, oxytocin making you feel bonded, cortisol creating the stress of separation. You're essentially experiencing a neurochemical hijacking. The cruel reality here is that when you reach out and break no contact, even if they don't respond, you've just reinforced the neural pathway. You've taught your brain that when you feel discomfort, the solution is to reach for them. You're strengthening the very pattern you're trying to break. So instead, when you get triggered, try naming it. I'm having a cue-induced craving. This is my nervous system, not my intuition. Then practice a grounding technique. Do some sensory awareness work or some deep diaphragmatic breathing. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and allows your prefrontal cortex to regain control. That's the part we want working for us. The triggers will get weaker over time as you build new neural pathways, but every time you give in, you're starting the clock over. Mistake number 3, learning about your attachment issues, doing all the research, and then thinking your ex should do the same. This one is so common, and it comes from the best place. You've done the work, you've learned about your attachment stuff, you've had your breakthrough moment, and you think if they just understood, we could fix it. We could work on this. And so you send them an article, a video, or maybe even this video right now. You think you're helping, but what's actually happening is something very different, okay? Because what you're missing is that the avoidance nervous system is not the same as yours. While you have a hyperactivated attachment system, avoidants have a deactivated one. Their early experiences taught them that emotional needs will not be met, so they learned to suppress those needs entirely. They developed what psychologists call defensive deactivation. When you approach them with attachment theory, their nervous system perceives it as pressure, intimacy, and emotional demand, the exact things that they were running away from to begin with. And that triggers their deactivation strategy. From their perspective, you're not offering insight. You're trying to change them or prove that they're broken. Avoidants have heightened activity in brain regions associated with emotional suppression. Specifically, they show greater activation in the right prefrontal cortex when confronted with attachment-related contact. This is their brain's way of maintaining distance and autonomy. So they will understand what you're saying. They might even agree, but it doesn't mean they're actually going to do something about it. Additionally, there's a concept in psychology called psychological reactance. When people feel their freedom is being threatened, they instinctively pull away or do the opposite. By pushing growth work on them, you're activating their reactance, making them less likely to do the work, not more. Hear ye, hear ye. You cannot drag someone into self-awareness. Real change only happens when it comes from their own internal motivation. Your job is not to fix them or enlighten them. Your job is to fix your own attachment patterns so you stop choosing people who can't meet you emotionally. Spending your no contact time trying to educate your ex is just another form of anxious attachment, trying to manage someone else's emotional process instead of your own. Mistake number 4, misunderstanding that the avoidant is feeling the same way you are. Here's one of the most painful realizations anxiously attached people have to come to. During no contact, your avoidant ex is not experiencing the same level of distress you are. And it's not because they don't care, it's because their nervous system is wired completely differently. When you're anxiously attached and separated from your partner, your attachment system goes into protest mode. Your brain is literally screaming, get them back, we are in danger. Meanwhile, avoidants experience what researchers call deactivation. Their attachment system essentially goes to sleep. They experience a reduction in emotional arousal, often reporting feelings of relief, peace, or numbness during separation. Their dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, DLPFC, good luck with that, the rational analytical part of the brain shows increased activity, allowing them to rationalize the breakup and focus on independence. There's a concept in psychology called the phantom X phenomenon. For avoidance, you become more attractive to them when you're a memory than when you're a present reality. And sometimes I believe that it is the avoidance that developed this concept of the one that got away, because they will tell you stories about that one that got away, and you will become the one that got away if you stay in no contact. So while you're suffering, analyzing every past conversation, wondering if they miss you, they're likely feeling a sense of freedom. Not because they're cruel, but because relief from relationship pressure is how their nervous system finds safety. This is especially important if you're in no contact thinking. They must be feeling this pain too. They'll reach out soon, but they won't. What you're doing here is projecting your experience onto them. This rejection keeps you waiting and prevents you from truly moving forward. You're also giving them the exact thing that allows their nervous system to rest, distance with no pressure. The irony here is that the more desperate you are for them to feel what you feel, the more you prove that your nervous systems are totally incompatible. Thinking if you do everything right, they'll choose you. This mistake is a painful one because it reveals a core belief that drives anxious attachment. I have to be perfect to be loved. You start thinking, if I just give them enough space, if I work on myself and become the perfect version of me, if I say all the right things, if I stop being needy, if I become more independent, then finally they'll see my worth and they'll choose me. This, my friends, is just another anxious trap. This belief system stems from childhood experiences where love was conditional. You learned that your needs were too much and that to receive love, you had to perform, achieve, or suppress who you truly are. Now you're reenacting that same dynamic with your ex. You're essentially saying, I'll be whoever you need me to be. Just please don't abandon me. From a neuroscience perspective, this keeps you in a state of chronic self-surveillance. Your ACC is constantly monitoring your behavior for mistakes. Are you being too needy, too much, not enough? Which all keeps your stress response activated. You can't heal when you're constantly performing. And so please hear me when I say this. There is no amount of self improvement that will make someone with an avoidant attachment style choose you if they're not doing their own healing work. Because the issue isn't that you're not good enough, the issue is that their nervous system perceives intimacy as a threat. You could become the most secure, confident, independent version of yourself, and they still might not choose you, not because of your worth, but because they're not capable of the intimacy that you deserve. Instead of asking, what do I need to do to be chosen? Start asking, who do I need to become to stop choosing people who can't choose me? That's the work that actually changes your life. Mistake number 6, not focusing on your nervous system. Now, this is the most important mistake, and it's the one that determines whether no contact will actually hold and whether it will heal you or just be another cycle of self-inflicted suffering. Most people in no contact are focused on their ex. They're white knuckling through each day, counting days, stalking social media, analyzing breadcrumbs. But they're not addressing the actual root issue, which is a dysregulated nervous system. Anxious attachment isn't just a psychological pattern, it's a physiological state. Your nervous system is stuck in sympathetic activation, fight, or flight mode. Research in polyvagal theory shows that people with anxious attachment have a harder time self soothing because their nervous system never learned to regulate independently. You were taught to use other people as your external regulator. I had a client who couldn't get out of bed until she spoke to her mom in the morning. That is unhealthy co-regulation. And now, when that person is gone, you don't just miss them, you lose your primary regulation strategy. When you don't focus on your nervous system, you stay in a state of chronic stress, which impairs your decision making, impairs your memory, and emotional regulation. Your cortisol levels remain elevated, which can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. You're more likely to make impulsive decisions like breaking no contact or jumping into a rebound relationship. You don't actually heal the attachment wounds, you just put a band-aid on it until the next relationship triggers it again. Instead, think of it like this. No contact should be a nervous system detox. This means focus on you and the things that light you up. Spend time with securely attached friends and family members. When you do this, your nervous system learns regulation through healthy co-regulation. Meditate, journal, go to therapy, start coaching with me. These help create new neural pathways and break old patterns. You can do things like yoga, EMDR, or somatic experiencing therapy. Again, something you can do with me. These help discharge the stored stress in your body. Even cold exposure, humming, singing, deep belly breathing. These are all things that activate your parasympathetic nervous system, but you have to have a strategic approach. When you focus on your nervous system, something incredible happens. You stop needing anyone to feel okay. Not because you're suppressing feelings, but because you've learned to deal with them. You've learned the healthy way to build capacity to regulate yourself. You're no longer outsourcing your sense of safety to someone else. And that is the greatest gift you can ever give yourself. So let's recap now. The 6 mistakes anxiously attached people make during no contact are: one, using it as a strategy to get your ex back instead of a boundary for healing. Two, breaking it when you get triggered instead of learning to self soothe. Three, thinking your ex should do the same growth work that you're doing. Four, assuming they're feeling the same pain you are. Five, believing that if you just became perfect enough, they'll choose you. And six, not focusing on regulating your nervous system. Here's what I would like for you to understand. No contact isn't about winning your ex back. It's about winning back yourself. It's about breaking the cycle of choosing people who can't meet you, learning to love yourself first, and redoing your entire relationship with love. Because the truth is, you don't need to redo this relationship. You need to redo the relationship with yourself. So if you found this helpful and you're ready to go deeper, click the link below and watch my masterclass for free. The link is in the description box. And if you really are ready to do the work, I offer one-on-one coaching where we'll work together to regulate your nervous system, heal your attachment wounds, change your mindset, and help you attract the love that you know you deserve, starting with the love you're going to give yourself. Remember, you're not too much, you never were. You just love someone who was too little. It's time to redo that narrative, and we can do it together. Start by leaving a comment, liking, sharing with a friend, and tap in with me because I'm here wanting to help you get through these really difficult experiences. I'll see you in the next video.